Welcome in to Fantasy Football with Corey and Kyle. It's time for another round of Would You Rather. And this time we're doing it with wide receivers. So let's go ahead and get our fun little wheel and give it a spin to see who we are going to talk about on this episode. Let's see. Here we go, Kyle. First player we're going to talk about on Would You Rather is Brandon Aiyuk.
Nice.
Alrighty. And then for our second one, let's go ahead and give it a spin. Oh, man, that's a long spin. I gave it a good one this time. Who's that on? Oh, T. Higgins. T. Higgins and Brandon Aiyuk. Alrighty, stick with us as we have a discussion on Would You Rather. Alrighty, Kyle. Let's talk about these two wide receivers that we spun for. And the first one we're going to talk about is Brandon Aiyuk. Oh, how's that doing that? There we go. Brandon Aiyuk. There we go. Hey-o. All right. What are you thinking about Brandon Aiyuk?
Well, I'm thinking he got a big new contract, played horrendous, and then got hurt and missed the rest of the season.
That sounds just about like every player that's ever signed a big contract.
But I also know this offseason, Deebo Samuel was shipped off to Washington. So, he's a clear-cut number one there now. Will he live up to that contract? I think he should, assuming he can get healthy. So, I don't know. There's been some trade rumors. I don't think he's going to end up going anywhere.
No, as far as I've seen, it's like, yeah, he's staying put. They were open to trading him, but, you should always, just like in fantasy on your team, you should be open to hearing offers for anybody on your roster, right?
Absolutely.
So same thing, 49ers just playing it smart, keeping their options open, and I like that approach. Also keeps Aiyuk a little grounded, right? Like keeps him getting too big for his britches. Like, wait a second, you're really just trading me away? It's like, well, we were willing to just not sign you before last season, so sure, we'll trade you away this offseason. Man, poor Aiyuk doesn't feel really secure there in San Fran.
Well, if you think about it, 2 years before he got the new contract, he was in the doghouse. Remember, everybody thought he was going to be this great, and he just barely did anything at all that season. Next year, he turns it all around. The year after that, he gets a contract, plays very mid, and then rips his ACL. And so, if I'm the Niners, why wouldn't you listen to offer
100%.
people come after him? Like, it's a nice wide receiver class this year. Maybe they would just draft a replacement.
Yeah, and really, at the moment, let's see, he's gonna share targets with Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings is kind of it, right? And don't get me wrong, they've done pretty decent,
Sure.
So they're decent target options. Of course, they'll have CMC back who will take some targets and stuff for as long as he plays before he gets hurt again.
Hopefully he'll go see some health shaman in the off season and.
If he was going to do it, he should have done it long before this offseason. But I'm just saying, like, as of right now, I think you're right. He's the clear-cut number one. Even if they draft somebody, a rookie coming in and taking that over from Brandon Aiyuk with his with the chemistry he kind of already has going with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy probably going to get his new contract, so there's going to be some stability there. Long term with the quarterback play. I like Brandon Aiyuk there.
Yeah, I like Brandon Aiyuk. He's definitely going to be a volume king, but I don't see him as the elite talent as other number one receivers around the league.
Agree with that.
So, I don't think he's quite on par with some of the other number one wide receivers from these other teams that I'm drafting ahead of him.
I agree. I think he makes a good like complementary piece, like a kind of a 1B or maybe even a high end number 2. So Debo moving away, and Debo had such a weird role anyway that I'm not sure that it really boosts Aiyuk much more than he already was. So I don't know. We'll keep that in the air, but let's go ahead and, speaking of number 2s on the team, let's talk about T. Higgins. Now, before we do that, I do want to invite everyone over to fantasyfootballadvice.com, where you can catch all of our articles, all of our videos from our entire team of 20 plus. You don't know what to do with your hands right now? You know?
No, I was mimicking.
I know, I'm kidding. But yeah, go over there. You can catch all of our videos, podcasts, articles, all that stuff. We've got a large team of people putting out good stuff all the time. Follow us on our social media channels, and you can get all that content as well.
Now
Alrighty.
I do it with my hands.
Yeah, not sure what to do with my hands right now.
She drives. Right. She drives real good.
Now let's talk about T. Higgins. You know, number 2 on his team, not just in our talking points here. So coming behind Jamar Chase, he also just got a really big contract. Speaking of injuries, this guy has a hard time staying on the field. So how are you feeling about T. Higgins?
He does have an issue staying on the field. I mean, he missed games this year, but he still ended up having one of the better years he's had. To me, when he's healthy, he's a potential, like, he has the talent to be a number 1 receiver when he's healthy.
Yes.
To me, I feel like Aiyuk and Higgins should be in opposite roles. Higgins is like a number 1 stuck in a number 2 role. Aiyuk's a number 2 that's been now lifted into a number 1 role. But on that team, if Burrow continues to sling it around the yard and they keep cooking like they did this year, Higgins is still going to get a ton of targets. Let's see how many. I don't even remember how many targets he had this year.
He had 109
targets, 73 receptions.
Well, and that's with missing 5 games.
Yeah, he missed 5 games. He didn't get to 1,000 yards. Still had 10 touchdowns. Like, if he can stay healthy, then, you know, he's easily. I mean, he finished as the number 17. If he can stay
5 complete games,
if he can stay healthy, he's top 12 easy, right? In that offense, the way they toss the ball, like, yeah, it could be very, very nice.
See, this is where a lot of people, in my opinion, kind of, well, I guess you can't say they go wrong, but I think it's faulty thinking and worrying when you think about, like, oh, he's the number 2. There's so many mouths to feed in that offense, right? Yeah. And to me, a lot of mouths to feed in an offense is a dangerous offense. You know, so you're getting more quality targets over quantity of targets. Now, granted, T. Higgins for a number 2 wide receiver on an offense with a lot of mouths to feed still gets a pretty good amount of targets. There's plenty of games last year that he got double-digit targets, which is crazy. I'm looking at, 6 maybe games that he had double-digit targets. And so, to me, again, I think the quality of targets, I think they keep utilizing Chase Brown the way they were. They're going to be in good scoring position often. A good offense like that is in scoring position more often, and that means more fantasy point potential. So,
yeah, for sure. And, you know, offenses nowadays, like, you're able to support 2 really good receivers at a time just because of the sheer passing volume. I mean, you look at Brown and Smith in Philly, right? Evans and Godwin were cooking earlier in the year before Godwin got hurt. JSN and DK, you know.
Yep.
I had another example. Oh, Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams this year.
Oh, yeah. Both did great.
On a down year for Rodgers.
Oh, yeah, when Adams
like,
came in, everyone's like, there goes Garrett Wilson, you know, just going to tank, and he did fine. He did great.
They finished 10 and 11 still. So, you know, these offenses can support more than one receiver at a time. And, I mean, you look at the Bengals, they're one of the highest volume passing offenses in the league. So
yep.
I don't worry about it. I worry more about his injury history than I do whether he'll get targets or not.
I agree with that. But also, you look at he played in 12 games this year and had 10 touchdowns. 10 touchdowns. That's fantastic. Give me that all day long. So, granted, Jamar Chase had 17 touchdowns, so he's obviously the number 2 there, but it's still very good wide receiver 2 there. Okay, so that's let's cut our discussion there, and then let's say who we would rather have. First, we'll do in redraft, and then we'll do in dynasty. All right. So I'll count to 3. Number 1 is Aiyuk. Number 2 is T. Higgins. So the same order we talked about him in is the same number you will hold up. Let's do redraft first. And in 3, 2, 1, show. I showed the wrong one. I want T. Higgins, and I put up a number 1. I'm an idiot. Okay, so we...
Then you don't deserve T. Higgins. You don't deserve him then.
I don't deserve him. I'm an idiot. I wanted number 2. I want T. Higgins in redraft. Let me clarify. I held up the wrong number. I'm just glad I held up that number 1. Anyways, so we both want T. Higgins. Why do you prefer T. Higgins in redraft over Brandon Aiyuk?
Just like I said, the volume of that passing game, and I just like I think he's more talented. I think he's a better receiver. The combination of the two, for me, gives him a much higher ceiling. And for redraft, he's not coming off a torn ACL also. Especially this next year, I definitely want T. Higgins over Aiyuk for that reason.
No, you took the words right out of my mouth. With coming off that injury for Brandon Aiyuk makes me a little nervous. That's probably why they were open to trade offers, knowing that they're kind of lacking in the wide receiver department. But you hit it. I mean, T. Higgins is overall probably a more talented wide receiver. I wish they were swapped, right? Yeah, but I feel like the Bengals are a pass-heavy offense where their run game really complements that, and it's the opposite in San Francisco where they're a run-heavy offense and the passing game complements that. I feel like Burrow is much better than Brock Purdy. That's not saying anything against Brock Purdy. I think he does a great job in that offense because it is so good at running the ball that it makes that passing game really easy for him. Joe Burrow is incredible. That offense is incredible. The scoring opportunities. That's who I want. I want T. Higgins, despite the wrong number being held up in the beginning. My argument is in favor of T. Higgins. All right, let's move on to Dynasty then, and we'll do the same thing. 3, 2, 1, show, and then we'll.
You almost got me again. Like
I know I messed up. Ready? 3, 2, 1, show. All right, we both went.
Hey, you held up the right one this time. I held up
the correct one. I meant to do that. I meant to go with T. Higgins.
I was going to laugh if you'd held up 2, and then you're like, damn it, this time I did want one.
I mean, honestly, my explanation here isn't that much different. It's a lot of the same reasoning as it was before. I love that T. Higgins just got a brand new contract. Everyone expected him to leave Cincinnati and go be a number 1 somewhere. He obviously loves what's going on in Cincinnati, aside from just the money. He's the highest paid number 2 wide receiver in the league, but he could have been paid more as a number 1 elsewhere and didn't take it. He stayed there. So obviously he loves what is going on there himself. So that speaks volumes to me. And he's a touch younger than Aiyuk, but he also doesn't have that big time injury. Granted, he does have an injury kind of issue going on, but it's not a torn ACL.
He's going to miss 2 to 5 games a year.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, but
name me a player that doesn't at this point. Jeez.
But that's basically exactly what I was going to say as far as like everything I said before in redraft and add on the contract, and he's a year younger. That's why I want him in Dynasty.
Yeah, I agree. I like having him in Dynasty. Luckily, on one of my Dynasty teams, I have both of these guys.
Burrow's nice and young, too, so they're going to be a team for a while.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Agreed. So, yeah, I'm liking him, and that's who I'm going with. Alrighty. Any closing remarks on either of these guys before we sign off here?
No, I hope I hope Aiyuk gets better and is back in time for the season. I know it'll be hard pressed, but I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how things happen in San Francisco this year with him coming back and not really another option for a true number one.
Yep,
That'll be interesting to watch, but the Bengals will be fun to watch.
I think the Bengals are going to be a lot of fun to watch. I know I didn't have much to say, nice things to say about Brandon Aiyuk, but I'll finish with go Devils.